Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, turn up. Turn up. It's the lumberjack. Here to bring the pain.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce to you to the sporting fans what I have today on this show. Charlotte, North Carolina professional boxing with the world of champion and the promoter, Miss Bellonora McCallum.
Ain't no stopping that. Hey, turn up. It's the lumberjack. Here to bring the pain. No one here can match. Ain't no stopping me. Hit 'em with the jack.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting episode of the Paul Brown Show. This evening, my guest will be no one other than the Charlotte professional boxing promoter, Miss Bellonora McCallum. How you doing now, Miss McCallum?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, world of champion boxing. Tell us a little bit about McCallum. Tell us about Bellonora.
About me, I am a professional boxing promoter here in Charlotte, North Carolina. I've been doing it for about a year and a half now. I'm also, interesting enough, an NFL agent and a USA Track and Field agent also.
So you're an attorney.
I am an attorney as well.
Oh, God.
I am.
She's an attorney as well, ladies and
I
gentlemen.
leave that part out so not to scare people.
Okay, I'm sorry. What inspired you to want to become a professional boxing promoter?
Interestingly enough, and the way I got into boxing, I've always loved boxing. I've always watched it. I grew up in the Tyson era, so I loved watching Tyson, Evander Holyfield, all those wonderful fighters. I actually was working here in Charlotte, and I was looking for ways to get healthy, to work out. And I said, I need to do something different, something that's going to keep me consistent. And I looked up boxing. Boxing just popped in my head, and I did some research. I found Coach Al Simpson, who's the actual coach for the Charlotte Boxing Academy. Okay. I'm here in Charlotte, North Carolina. I called him up. He said, come on out, try it. I went, I took one of my friends with me. We thoroughly enjoyed it. It wasn't just like a regular kickboxing class. He actually taught the fundamentals, and the techniques of boxing. And that really made me dig into it further and really get behind the scenes. So I did some research, studied, because I am an attorney, studied the statutes, and figured out what needed to be done in order to start promoting. And that's what I did.
What, as far as, describe what it takes to be a boxing promoter?
Patience. A lot of patience and a strong personality, and just a strong person in general, because and more importantly, as a female in industry, I get a little bit more flack than probably usual. But you just have to be able to negotiate. You have to be willing to stick to your grounds. You have to be willing to not allow people to take advantage of you and your business. So you just have to be patient, and I say patient because money doesn't come quickly. It's not a quick turnaround. You're building a business. And then you have to be strong. You got to be ready to go toe to toe with these boxers and managers and agents and trainers and all those type of things.
Okay, growing up, we used to hang one of the famous boxing promoter, Don King.
Yes.
What type of style does he have, and do you have a similar type style? Or because he was all around.
Don King is a legend. I am not yet comparing myself to him yet. Hopefully I can get to that status, but I would say I like the way that he made it a family business, and I like the way he just really focused on building boxing. And that's what the goal of McCallum Enterprise World of Champions. And that's my goal. I want to do what he's done in his state and in his area here in North Carolina, in Charlotte. Everybody can afford to go to Las Vegas. They can't go to Atlantic City to go to these fights. So why not bring him here? Charlotte has a wonderful market for that. We're building, we're expanding, we're growing. I really feel like, just based on the research and the marketing research I've done here, boxing can be successful. We've had some great fighters come from out of here. Kelvin Seabrook and Calvin Brock are just to name a few.
Okay, when you have this event going on and all the excitement going on as far as the fighters, how do you handle all that's going on?
I have a fantastic team, Paul. I have a team of about 10 to 15, and it's my family and one of my closest friends who I consider family. They really keep things going behind the scenes, and I'm still not at a point they want me to actually sit down and enjoy the show and kind of meet and greet with folks that come, but I'm still not at that point where I'm ready to sit down. They are working to help me do that, but they keep the show oiling. I have folks that deal with my concessions, that do the front door tickets. I handle usually the boxes in the back, ring girls. It's a team of 10 to 15 that really keeps everything going.
The planning process of having a professional boxing match, what's the estimated time and what all does it consist of?
Where World of Champions is doing it in probably a 2 months time, month and a half, 2 months time. But we're still doing small shows. Eventually, when you get to that larger scale, it will be planning 3 to 4 months ahead of time, so you can do that adequate marketing. But for the level that we have and the number of people that we have coming, we do at least a month and a half to 2 months in advance. It requires you to do everything: find the location, get the ring situated, find out where you're going to put the ring, get chairs, concessions, that's food and drinks. Most importantly, get the fighters. I do my own matchmaking. I haven't hired a matchmaker, so I do it myself. So I have to match all the fights, make sure contracts are sent out. There's a lot that goes to it that's behind the scenes whenever you're doing a fight like this.
I know you're up here in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yes.
What type of support do you get from our community? Because boxing is not that large right now in Charlotte at this time.
Right. We're hoping to get more support. A lot of times when the community knows the fighters that are actually coming, for example, Jared Robinson, he does really well with selling tickets. He's 14-0 now, so he's one of the guys that we're focusing on. But a lot of times, if you get fighters that they know and that are in the local boxing gyms, these fighters will sell tickets. They'll hand out posters and flyers, and that will encourage people from the community to come. Our goal is that when they see World of Champions, when they see this logo, they'll know it's a great production. They're going to come automatically. So we haven't reached that status yet. We're growing to that, but we notice that the community will come out if they hear about it, if they're boxing lovers, and especially if they know the fighters that are fighting.
The fighters, how far away does some of your fighters come from?
Oh, wow. We've had fighters come from all over. The furthest we've had is Ashley Theophane, who actually just was on the undercard for the Mayweather fight that took place a couple months ago. He was actually on the undercard, and we were so excited about that, to have him fight on a World of Champions card and then go and fight on Mayweather's undercard. That was great. And he's actually from London, so he came all the way from London. But we get him from Florida all the way up from D.C., and we have a title fight this fight. I'm so excited about. It's a WBC title fight. And these guys are coming from I think Ohio. The management's coming from Seattle, Washington, but these fighters are coming from Ohio and places of that nature. So I'm really excited about the title fight we're having.
How long have you been handling the World of Champions?
About a year and a half. About a year and a half. So this will probably be my 8th boxing event.
And each show, what seems to be the things that you feel to be that you're learning about this whole promotion thing?
There's a lot that I learned about the industry. It's different when you are a spectator just watching boxing from the outside, but whenever you know the ins and the outs and everything that's going on in the background and the ups and the downs of the boxing industry, that's when it gets really interesting. And that's when you really decide if you really want to stay in boxing or if you want to give it up. And I haven't seen anything yet that made me move on and give it up. It's a challenge, and I knew that it would be a challenge. I wasn't exactly prepared. I was thinking it was going to be a welcoming, open arms, but it's not always that, and it's not going to always be that in all your industries. You're going to have to fight for the position that you're looking to gain, and I'm up for the fight.
World of Champions. What made you come up with that name?
I sat down with a couple of McCallum Enterprise at the time, and it's still under McCallum Enterprise. I sat down with team members, and we looked at what the goal was. What do we want to do with this boxing promotional company? We want to promote world champions. We don't want people just to stay here in North Carolina. We don't want our fighters just to stay here in North Carolina. We want them to travel the world. And World of Champions plans to actually sign fighters at some point to our promotional company so that when they go out, they will have the World of Champions logo. When we send them to London, when we send them to Russia, when we send them all over the United States, they will see that they are part of World of Champions, and we're sending our best fighters out to compete. And that's what it was about. Not just a champion, but a world champion.
I know you said that what you're going to do is have your logo on that fighter. What does that mean for that fighter to carry your name into that ring?
It means a lot. It really does. It shows, not only does it get our logo and our name out, you know, when they see the fighter on TV, when we whenever we do our own televised fights, and when we send them out to do the HBO and the Cinemax televised fights, they'll see that logo, and then hopefully it'll spark an interest for spectators to look this logo up and this name up and follow us, and follow the career and the development of World of Champions, and hopefully come to some of our shows. So it sends that marketing out beyond North Carolina. It sends it to internationally, and that's what we're hoping to do. We want to get the word out for World of Champions, and we want people to know about World of Champions.
You have a fight coming up October 26th. Tell us a little bit about the fight and what all should we expect.
You should expect action-packed bouts. We're going to have what we try to do, and what we've tried to do for most of our shows. We want to show community support by putting amateur fighters on. And again, I work with Coach Al Simpson from the Charlotte Boxing Academy with that. We usually put about 3 or 4 amateur bouts on. We let these guys see how it feels to be in front of a big crowd. Now, they already fight USA Boxing Amateur, so they know how it is to fight in front of a crowd. But when you switch over to professional, they're different things. And I want them to get adjusted to that so that they can see I'm fighting towards something. I'm working hard for a reason. I'm not going to have to go out to another state or to another place. I could stay right here in Charlotte in my hometown, build my name and build my brand and become a professional fighter. I want them to see that. I want them to become familiar with the World of Champions brand. For October 26th, as I said, we have a huge title fight, WBC title fight. We have 2 gentlemen who are number 4 and number 12 in the WBC and in the National Association of Boxing Federation. So we are definitely ecstatic about that. We're trying to get out as much marketing as possible for it.
What does it take to be competitive with Vegas, New York, New Jersey boxing?
Sponsorship. I would definitely say sponsorship. This is the time now for sponsors to jump on board, because that's what makes those promoters in those big areas, Vegas and Atlantic City. There's so many people there that need to market and advertise. That's a part of that, and they know people come to Vegas. They know they're coming to Atlantic City for these fights. So I would say sponsors are a huge part of the success. So that you're able to, the more sponsors you have, the bigger the show you're able to develop and really put on for the audience. So I would say that's definitely a difference, and that's what they do in those locations. If you notice, anytime you see a fight, you'll see a logo in the back, all throughout the ring, and on the fighters also. So I think that's a big plus.
So it's a great benefit for people to get sponsored.
Absolutely.
And they don't realize that, because this is very vital to letting people know about their business.
Yes, it's a great way. It's a great way, because usually at our fights we will not only introduce your business, but when we have those type of sponsors there, we'll let them come in the ring, introduce themselves, introduce a particular bout, because sometimes you can be a sponsor of a particular bout. So it's wonderful marketing opportunities. We'll let you set up a table if you want to give out free marketing materials and things of that